Nope.
How's it going, everyone? I hope your week went well. I'm honest, and this is the show to watch, the show to be a part of, the Honest Experience. First, I'd like to thank everyone that's been liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. It is people like you that are going to continue to help our community to grow. So please continue to share. If you haven't, go over to my channel, subscribe, make sure you ring that bell. If you've done all that, why don't you bring somebody else over, get them to check me out, subscribe, make sure they ring that bell as well. So a couple months ago, we reported about a teacher who misplaced the United States flag. Now, she made this TikTok video, and in this TikTok video, she talked about how the students would ask if she's finding the United States flag, and she would lie to these children that are in elementary and say she's looking for it. And in actuality, she was never looking for it. In fact, she told us on the camera. Then she laughed and said she had a student that said, well, it's kind of weird and awkward to stand here and do the Pledge of Allegiance with no flag. At which point she started giggling on camera and shifted the camera towards this flag and said, but we got one. And it was the LGBT flag, or the rainbow flag. Now, since then, yes, after that came out, she was let go and she went into hiding, taking everything off of social media. But that's because the parents found out. She was stupid enough to put that on TikTok thinking she was going to get a whole bunch of praises, but reality checked in quick for her. But we also, during these processes, found out that there was a teacher with Antifa ideology that would push that on his children, oftentimes wearing Antifa gear and also having an Antifa flag up in his schoolroom. And he would also talk about Antifa and white supremacists and all this stuff in a way that would teach these children that Antifa was actually good and righteous. And while that was also happening, we also learned here not too long ago that a district had told their teachers to make two different types of curriculum, one that would be sent home to parents so they wouldn't know what would be taught in class, and another one they would be really teaching these students in class and the parents wouldn't know. We also saw during a pandemic several of these school districts telling parents not to monitor their kids and that they didn't want the parents to know what was going on in the classroom. And a lot of this did start coming out during the pandemic because the children were at home and some of the parents were there getting wind of what was going on. And then, like we just said, you had several of them outright telling these parents not to be around. They were telling students to let the teachers know if the parents were coming in. Some of them would tell the parents they needed to leave. There was videos of parents getting into it with teachers, catching them saying race baiting stuff, things that should not be taught in elementary, middle school, or even some places in high school. And yet they wonder why these parents are getting so upset. In fact, Biden directing his DOJ, where they're labeling these parents as terrorists. But Antifa and BLM, who are the ones that been tearing up our streets, murdering, blowing up fast food joints, gas stations, places of business, and actually even taking over police stations, but those are not terrorists. Well, as things get more daunting for kids, Fox News reported earlier this month about a school board member in Florida chaperoning elementary students to a gay bar. In fact, again, she posted this up on Facebook, bragging all about it, and everybody got to see this. But that right there in itself, what was reported then, it ain't the tip of the iceberg. So since Fox News let it out. And if you haven't heard, a Florida school board member chaperoned a group of elementary school children on a field trip to a gay bar. According to the photos of the trip she posted to social media, I was so honored to be invited to chaperone at the elementary field trip to the incredible Rosie's. The students and I had fun walking around and learning a lot about our community. A huge thank you to Rosie's Bar and Grill for hosting this special field trip every year. So this is something that seems like it's happening every year. So that's crazy that just now people are starting to find out about these elementary kids not only going to a bar, but going to a gay bar every year for a field trip. But now the left is digging in. They are protecting their own, and several of the news outlets putting out their piece at not only attacking Fox News, but trying to present this in a bow and a nice package like it was a great thing for these students, oftentimes calling the reporting from Fox News knee jerking, homophobic, more right wing rhetoric, and so on, the crap that you know about. They also wanted to flip her comments about how she was so proud, like it was something that was great that she was doing not only for these elementary students, but for the community. This school board member and these leftist media are also turning around and trying to upplay these threats of parents that just want her out and this field trip to stop. They're trying to not only discredit a lot of these parents and their concerns, but they're trying to upplay these threats and the stuff that was read and stuff like people wanting her out. And she's so devastated because she could lose her job. Well, you should have never put yourself in a position to lose your job. That's not life threatening. I'm sorry. These leftist media also put out a piece that makes you want to feel for her and make you understand. And let's be all kumbaya and inclusive. But when Colorado Representative Boebert wanted to bring up a great question, then the tide started coming in and they wanted to attack her. See, she simply said, push all this political stuff aside. What were elementary students going to a bar? Which I feel is a great question. Let's put away for a second that it was at a gay establishment with provocative drinks and menu items and scenery. But what is? Nobody can answer that question. They just wanted to attack her. Why is it okay for elementary students to go to a bar on a field trip? You even had one leftist go as far as saying you live in Colorado where there are places of business that allow gun owners to walk in with their guns and children can go there. That is so stupid and not even the same thing. First of all, if you teach somebody that a gun is scary, you're teaching them that a gun is scary, but it's just a tool. No gun has ever got up and assaulted anybody on their own. It's purely was by the person that used it, either misused it or appropriately used it. But there is this stupid notion to try to bring guns as the same thing as taking elementary students to a gay bar where people get drunk and you have these provocative names for drinks and food items. Doesn't matter if it's okay or not in society. It's not. This is no learning place for children of any kind, especially in elementary. What does that have to do with learning? Somebody else also wanted to point out to that response, oh, it's just like taking your children to Applebee's. They serve liquor. Actually, it's not. In all the reportings, each one said that establishment had to be 21 to be admitted. Now, along with these different reports, they were talking about how, oh, so what if the drinks and foods had provocative names? It's not like the children were served alcohol. The other scary part is this place of business is just right there by the school. Now, I bring this all up for a couple factors. One, the left is really starting to dig deep and protect all of their side. This woman had no right to chaperone, and whoever else made this trip, whoever agreed to it, they had no right to take these children to a bar, a gay establishment, whatsoever. At best, if you're going on a field trip, you stop by at McDonald's. You don't need to be going to a bar to take these children to meet their community. And there is so many other ways, great ways to go and meet the community by taking those students and maybe having them work in resident homes and helping out older people, or maybe getting out in the community and picking up and waving hi to everyone. Going out to a gay bar, that's just some ideology you're trying to push on these children that they do not need. And furthermore, they are not at the age that need to know anything about sex, drinking, or any type of atmosphere like that. And if they do or are at the age, that is for the parent to decide. And if the parents are okay with it, it is not their right to push that on for a school to go and teach them anyways, because that school has a responsibility to all the children, not just a certain type or certain kind that may have parents that are okay with this. But as we saw, parents are not okay with this, which is why we're hearing about this. But the other reason why I bring this up is because this is the stuff that's going on in schools. And we need to shed a light on this every time. It's what I've been pushing. Know the truth and spread the facts. We have got to put the light on this. We've got to make an example of this lady and get rid of her. We got to get rid of those teachers or anybody else that thought this was a good idea. These are young, impressionable minds. And you don't want them in the classroom talking to you all filthy, and you don't want them acting a certain way, but yet you will take them to a 21 and up establishment. And then you have the media and the leftists, all because they want to choose a side, because Fox News did a piece and they are known to be on the right side, which that can be debatable at times anyways, but because they are known to be on the right side and they covered Donald Trump during his 4 years, they are now making this piece as homophobic, as racist, which how that can get in there, knee-jerking, and trying to go after these parents that are concerned. And it just ties into with the fact of this administration that's trying to label these parents as terrorists. We have got to shine a light on this. And lastly, I say support conservatives, support free thinkers. That's because they represent the idea of freedom. But it is the idea of freedom we are supporting. We have the freedom to send our children to school and know that we are paying taxes for them to teach what we expect them to teach. Nothing more, nothing less. Bunch of parents are worried and scared for multiple of reasons about sending their children to school. And now there are attacks on homeschooling and even private schooling, because you cannot go to a school or teach your kids that don't indoctrinate them the way that the government wants them indoctrinated. There is something wrong with that. And let me go on to say that Representative Boebert said maybe it's time for parents to go and homeschool their children. Now, I've got a child. He's in high school. He's almost done. If he was younger, that's probably something that we would need to think about. But we're in an area that at least we're not getting a lot of that liberal nonsense. It's a close-knit community where parents are very much involved. So there's not a lot where here they can get away with. But some of these places that are like that, and it will get pushed here. And luckily, hopefully, that's after my son is done and gone. And hopefully, I have taught my son to be not only independent, but not be a follower, sheep, or a slave. We've got to support conservatives and free thinkers, and not just in Washington, not just in local politics, but we've got to get them in our schools. If we've got liberals teaching our kids this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to continue to happen, and then you have a side, let's be honest, this media does not care, but they want to use this for their side and attack the right side. And all these games are leading into fractures that are leading into physical harm and death, and even a lot of other things that is tearing up our country. So know the truth and spread the facts like wildfire. Quit being naysayers when something comes out. When something comes out about the election, or something comes out about these schoolings or whatever. Don't be, yeah, we already know, but nothing's going to happen. You're doing most of the work for the left at that point. If you don't know what to do, if you're lost, if you're angry, or if you feel like you can't do anything, the first thing you need to do is snowball all that into pushing the truth out. Boom, 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 boom. Get the sheep, get the slaves some knowledge. Start picking them up. We need to start transforming our schools. We need to do that and start transforming our government. Even some of our churches have left God. We need to start putting in and focusing our stuff and time on conservative Christian entertainment, and no longer give Hollywood or these others. You know, they got Hollywood, they got big tech, they got the music industry, they got all this entertainment where all the money is at. And then they're teaching our kids at school. So the kids are getting it from MTV and Hollywood and school. We're losing the battle. Now, we can't also run. I'm not running. I'm here on a liberal platform. I'm also on a free speech conservative platform, building that up. But we've got to go out like Jesus did, and Jesus's apostles, and all through the Bible. You go out where the sinners are. You don't go be afraid, and you go out there into the lion's den. You look them in the eye. You don't give up. You don't quit, and you speak the truth. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's why I'm here. I'm solely here to get my community. If that wasn't it, well, I wouldn't be here because I don't care about anything else. If that was, I would stick to, all the conservative free speech. But I've got to get out there. I've got to go to the lion's den and speak the truth. Know the truth, spread the facts. Support your conservatives. Support me. Support your brothers and sisters. Okay? We've got a lot of great things since November 2020 that are coming out. We are having more people coming over to the conservative side. We are having more patriotic music and entertainment coming out. And we like to spotlight that when we can. We have a lot of truth coming out. Not everything is the result that we want it now. It takes time. It takes patience. And we got to fight the good fight, but we cannot do the work for them. This is a liberal machine that won't go quietly in the night. Not much more I can say about that. But if you liked what you heard, if you liked what you saw, or you just want to help push this beautiful, conservative, free-thinking message of ours, please continue to share, like, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless, and I'll see you next time.
Nope.